Looks good, buddy. Looks good.
One of us has to do some work during the week.
Yeah, sorry, I'm normally busy working.
Oh, don't even get me started on that. Okay.
I'm normally busy towing ship boxes.
This is my only night that I am not dispatching or on call from, yes, a long period of time.
Mm-hmm.
And here I am bringing this wonderful entertainment to you, G.
To me. No, not to me. I could care less.
Oh, it's nice when you finally start giving it back once in a while. Well, have you considered going to them? No.
Yes, I have considered it, and the answer is still no.
I'll gladly tell you where he is. I can pull up where he is. You just can't see where he is. So when I redirect from your $53 call to go do an MVC, you're not asking questions on why my driver just drove right by the customer.
Yeah.
Because it's none of your business.
Roadside's asking too many questions of why trucks driving past other calls.
Yep. None ya. None ya is the answer to that. None ya business.
Yep.
I gave an ETA. I'll be there within an ETA. I'll update it if I'm not. Short of that, I don't care if he drove by 4 of them.
Yep.
I dispatch my trucks. You don't dispatch my trucks.
Yep. I'm sorry. Our company doesn't revolve around your company, and I've got other calls on the board that may have higher priorities. Wait your turn.
Hey everyone, I'm Brad from Calgary.
This is Sean from Cambridge, Ontario.
I'm Terry from Cornwall, Ontario.
Hey, this is Larry from Pitt Meadows, British Columbia, and you're listening to the Towing Life Podcast.
Welcome to the Towing Life Podcast, where the ditches are deep, the trucks are loaded, but the drivers are not. I am your host, TowManG. If I was TowManG, I tell you I'd have a lot more free time and a lot worse looks. And as usual, I'm not actually doing the intro. I just wanted to mess with you.
Oh, okay. I was dumbfounded there for a second. Welcome to the Towing Life Podcast, where the ditches are deep, the trucks are low, but the drivers are not. I am your host, TowManG, and as usual, I'm joined by my co-host, friend, and former co-worker, the man with very strong opinions, Mr. PlainGuy.
What is going on, G? What is going on?
Well, it's thundering and lightning outside, but my connection seems good, so fingers are crossed. It's going to be a good episode.
It might actually be helping your connection.
I haven't actually seen the little icon come up yet. Knock on wood.
I know, and you've been clearer than you've ever been on screen. I don't know if that is a good thing or a bad thing for our YouTube viewers, not YouTube listeners. Welcome to another wonderful episode of the Towing Life Podcast. If you are watching over on YouTube, I'm going to get this out of the way early. Do not forget to hit that like, subscribe. It's a free way to support the show. It doesn't cost you anything. Make sure to hit that little subscribe button. Hit that thumbs up button. If you don't like it, hit the thumbs up button or the thumbs down button twice.
Yep.
It gets through to YouTube that you really, 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 really don't like it, and they will never show it to you again. If you are listening over on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcast, wherever you get your podcast, thank you for joining in once again. Do not forget there, you can also, I believe, rate us through Apple Podcasts, through Amazon Music, through Spotify, all those things. Be sure to do so. Check out our Facebook at the Towing Life Podcast on Facebook. You will find clips from the weekly episodes. You will find any of the new stuff coming out. We've been trying to bring constant content to help keep the page entertaining. We appreciate each and every one of you, and we try to reach you every week with some entertainment. So that being said, here we are. Don't forget, also visit the website, www.towinglife.ca. You will find all the information there on where you can contact us. Today, we are going to get to a couple people who have reached out, whether it be through Facebook or through YouTube. We will get to that a little later in the show. So if you want your voice heard, head over to towinglife.ca or the Facebook page, or email us at thetowinglife@gmail.com. Any of those ways, we will get your comments, questions, and or concerns on the show, and you can have your voice heard. We are just towers, bringing towing entertainment. If you want to be part of that entertainment, whether it be good, bad, or indifferent, you know where to find us.
Yeah, the towing industry is a big, beautiful place, and we're just a small piece of the pie.
I'm a pretty big piece of this small piece of the pie, but I agree with what you're saying.
Your head is very large. I will admit that. Yes.
I was going more with my abdomen and stomach area.
Okay. All right.
Which may or may not be the same place, depending on how medically advanced our listeners are.
Don't you just love it? And I'm not calling out anyone in particular. You all know this one cocky driver who's just he could just have had a couple of good months where he really thinks he's just all that in the bag of chips. And then he shows up and can't do something, and you show up and knock him down a few pegs. Isn't that just the best feeling in the world?
I was that driver.
You still are that driver.
Whoa, there's not much that I show up to that I say I can't do anymore. But no, I 100% was that driver. I was a big believer and still am of wreckers can do anything, right? You don't need a flatbed. You don't need a flatbed. And one of my old employers, I remember I always argued with them with that. And I was a young, cocky operator at the time, still fairly green, maybe a couple of years in. Mm-hmm. And I remember a specific day where I got a call to winch out a Honda Pilot out of a deep ditch in the middle of wintertime. And I could not get my truck to anchor. I was trying everything. It's pulling me all over the place. And I called my boss and I said, I need you to send a bed. We got the NRCs with the spades on it that go down. Those things will pull a train.
That's not a true comparison. An NRC flatbed is in a realm all its own.
Fair enough. But I called him up and I said, I'm going to need you to send a flatbed. I can't get this Honda Pilot out of here. His answer to me was, well, thought you said a wrecker can do anything a flatbed could. I tell you, I got that Honda Pilot out because all it took was that. I got mad. I hung up and I was like, yeah, I'm going to show you. And that's all it took was that extra little motivation sometimes, especially when you have an ego hot-headed operator. That is the best thing to throw at them. Well, I thought you were good. You want to talk good? I thought you were good.
Especially for like recoveries too, because the stereotypical wreckers are always better for recoveries. In your generic, you've got the height, you've got the reach. You're normally more well equipped to do recoveries, and here you are struggling with a Honda Pilot. Meanwhile, it's just a traction issue that you're fighting with.
The truck wasn't the issue. It's the fact that I could not get that truck to plant. We didn't have those Scotch blocks back then. We didn't have that kind of stuff. I was relying all on four wheels.
2x4 on one side and your steel toe boot on the other.
Pretty much on a slushy, slick shoulder. So I ended up getting it out. But yeah, no, you know me. I'm a big believer in the wreckers. But those NRCs, when it comes to recovery, you can like your wrecker all you want until the first time you plant those spades down on an NRC and you yank something out and you go, ooh, this is a game changer.
That gives you a stiffy right there. But I've actually got a story from last Friday of not a driver being cocky. I was actually doing release. It was around 4:00 on Friday. I drove my dispatcher home because she leaves early on Fridays and she doesn't drive. So I drove her home, didn't unlock, and on my way back to the shop, my evening dispatcher said there's a release. They're there waiting. Perfect. Cool. Get back to the office. 2 guys there. One guy named Charles. Shout out to you, Charles. You're all right. And a bigger
We will not use the real names of the people to protect the people.
Yes, exactly. Charles is a fake made-up name. And then his other friend, who is a fairly large fella, both come walking into the shop or into the office, and I start working on the paperwork. And my dispatcher over the phone told them that they couldn't use their roadside to get the car out of the impound. So the car was damaged. It wasn't drivable. Had 2 front flat tires. Come to find out that I actually had damage underneath. The rear axle was bent and twisted. The exhaust was dragging. Whole 9 yards. So they're trying to figure out how they're going to get it out. I give them a killer cash deal because they're going to be paying the $800-900 bill to get it out of the impound in the first place, right?
Right.
So I give them a good deal because I'm not a heartless person. And so while I'm writing up the bill and finishing up this bill, they're going on about, oh, well, the guy who Charles was racing lost, and there was a bet of $100. Well, Charles made the guy who lost pay up, and the guy who lost didn't like that. So the guy who lost chased him down to where he went, stole his car, ran him over with his own car, then got out, shot him twice in the shoulder and in the stomach. Charles got up, shot him twice back. So
Don't mess with Charles.
Don't mess with Charles. So these are the people I'm dealing with in my office, right? So I told Charles, it's like, we are under video and audio surveillance. And he was like, well, I'm going to shoot him again with a water pistol. It's like, right on. Good for you, Charles.
Good for you, Charles.
So,
keep up the good fight, Charles.
Yeah, he pays the bill, and his friend says, okay, well, I've got this other roadside. I just need the ownership out of the car to see if we can get a truck sent out. I was like, yeah, sure, that's fine. And I pushed the one car out that was blocking it in, and he give his buddy the ownership. So then I'm like, okay, I need to get this car into neutral, push it back, see if I can get it started. It's been sitting in the shop a little while. Locked in park, can't seem to get the shift release to pop. It's nosed right up to a pickup truck. So I whip my tow truck around, and I bring out a winch cable, hook it onto the rear end. I'm only going to drag it back like 3 feet.
This is Charles's car, or this is the one blocking it? Oh, this is
Charles's car.
Okay, so you were going to winch Charles's car.
Yes, to be able to open the hood, put power to it.
Okay, gotcha.
Right? To see if I can get it to start, because he's adamant that it will start. So while I'm doing this, I had the girlfriend with me too at the time. This random guy doesn't walk through the bay door that's wide open with my tow truck in it, walks through the front door and around my office and into the shop and asks, can I use your pisser? I was like, I'm sorry, that's for customers only. He's like, what the man? I own a shop, and if someone comes in and asks me to use their pisser, I just let them use their pisser. I was like, I'm sorry, it's for employees only. And he was like, well, you do towing, right? I was like, yeah. I was like, for the police, you do impounds. I was like, yeah. Well, I'm getting a car towed here. I'm like, okay, just, you know what? Just go use the bathroom. I've got more things to deal with, right?
So this was some third random guy. Was not
third
part
random
of
guy. I haven't seen this guy yet.
Okay.
This is the person you want to watch. This is the person that makes the whole situation go downhill. Not Charles and not the other fella.
Yeah, fair enough.
Right? So I winch this car back and I tell the girlfriend, watch that guy, because we have fatals in the shop that aren't allowed to be touched, right? So I need to know who's in the shop and everything. And I winch the car back, and as I'm going to go try to open up the hood, the gentleman who went to the bathroom comes back out, says to the girlfriend, I like your stickers on the shitter, and then walks outside because someone got a sticker maker and went kind of crazy on our toilet.
Okay, fair enough.
It was a little tidbit I figured I'd throw in there.
Joe, yeah, that's kind of details to the story that no one really gets nor understands. But okay, I'm in.
He walks back outside, and I'm trying to get the hood open. And well, when the car apparently ran over Charles and through a fence, the hood buckled down on itself and it won't open. I tried prying it a little bit, won't open. So as I walk back out to go tell Charles, I was like, I won't be able to put your windows up, because he was concerned about that. This third random guy pipes up and asks, what's the address? And now, that's a very simple question. But I had a very simple question of my own. Who are you? That put him over the top. What the fuck do you mean who I am? I'm just asking for the goddamn address. And he went off, started yelling and screaming. I was like, whoa, man, I'm just trying to figure out who you are, if you're with these guys or not. I don't know if you're here for another car. You didn't identify yourself. And he starts going off, and Charles is like, no, he's with me, in a quiet little voice just off to the side. I was like, all right, that's all I need to know. It's done. And he kept fucking yelling and kept going off. I was like, if you don't calm down, I'm going to have to call the police. Because at this time, I'm standing beside the car. I just moved out of the shop with the key still in it. That's another impound entirely. And this guy who's yelling at me right beside that car. I wasn't sure if he was there for that car that I just moved out that had the keys in it, or with Charles.
So it turns out he is with Charles.
He is with Charles. Freaking out.
Okay.
So I yell at the girlfriend to call the cops, and I message my manager, I've got an irate customer. Can you please get someone here now? Please. And
no, we're Canadian whenever we throw please in twice into that text message, but okay.
It was actually a phone call. I texted my dispatcher. It was a very hectic moment because while I'm trying to deal with that, I'm trying to keep eyes on the girlfriend and get the shop closed up, because that car's not leaving my shop and my winch cables half in the shop, still connected to the car, and I've got the door unlocked as well, and a car outside with the keys in it. My truck's also on a 45-degree angle, so the camera in the truck can't see what's going on, and I don't have audio outside. So I've got all this going on in my head. It's like, if shit goes down, I need to be in a decent position to where it's on camera at least.
So you can see Charles shooting you. Good to know.
Yeah, right? So as I'm closing up the shop, the girlfriend gets a hold of the police. She asks for my date of birth, which I thought was funny because she forgot my date of birth, but it's a stressful situation, so I let it slide. And I get back out, and we had like a 5 to 8 minute lull in this heated argument, I guess you could say. And I was standing on the one side of the truck. I got a couple of puffs of my vape in, and I crushed a water bottle. It was kind of nice and relaxing. And then this third random guy walks back over. This time, cell phone in hand, up in my face, screaming at me again. And at this point, I'm like, okay, well, if this guy's recording, he's probably not going to be the instigator here. So I'm just going to try to shut him down. But he keeps trying to egg me up. And I've already got my adrenaline going, and I still got a car outside. So I just keep telling him to go back over onto the other side of the building and to bugger off. And I just tried to ask you who you were, and you started freaking out. And my manager shows up. He got there in 5 minutes. The police took 35 minutes. So he diffused the situation. The police finally show up and try to figure out who's who and what's going on. And they still don't know why the third person is here dealing with Charles's car. Needless to say, Charles apologized profusely to me. He said that he didn't want the cops there. Turns out this guy's been shot 5 times, 3 times by the police before for other incidences.
Interactions, yeah.
Yes. So he's got a bad experience with law enforcement. Plus, he showed his balls to everyone there because when he got ran over by the car, he's got a big mark up down the center of his leg and around his groin. So you showing that off to people. So I just tell Charles, is like, you know what? This all really started because you weren't allowed to tow your car out of here with a roadside. I'll tell you what. We'll just tow your car under the roadside. You paid the bill. As long as he is not going to be at the drop-off, we should be all right. He was like, that, if you're going to do that, you're an amazing person. And he gave us praise up and down. Anyway, so I sent him off with my other driver in a flatbed. Easier to tow the car. Anyways. And Charles was like, well, if they are there at the drop-off, don't worry. I'll go into my house and grab the Glock 9. And I go to Charles, is like, no guns. None of that. So then on the ride, as they're going there, he was like, well, TowManG said no guns. So if they're there and they start causing any problems, I'm going to go in there and grab a chainsaw and come out and start swinging. Like, this guy just had verbal diarrhea and didn't know when to shut the hell up.
Not helping his case at all.
No. So that was my Friday afternoon.
Okay. I'm going to play devil's advocate. You say this went bad whenever you wouldn't take the roadside to tow the vehicle out. I'm going to disagree. I'm going to say this went bad whenever you had poor impound management. Because there's no reason that anything should have been open for a guy to just walk right through. Why were the customers in the pound with you?
So all I have is indoor storage. Everything is indoor storage. Right?
So why were they in the shop with you?
Because they needed to get the ownership out of the glove box.
You can go get the ownership for them.
Impound, I need the police presence if I go in the car.
Not if you're getting permission from them.
You
have camera in your shops?
Yes.
Okay.
So
listen to me. No, let me finish.
Yeah.
So everything is video recorded. I need to get the ownership out to see if this roadside will cover it. Okay. I can't have anyone in here because, as you've said, there is police vehicles in there that can't be unattended because whether they're ident, whatever they're in for.
Yeah.
So I can go get you the ownership out of that vehicle. You know, where is it? And I will go get it. Is that okay with you? Yes. The answer is no. Okay. Well, then you're not getting the ownership to do the roadside. But at this point, you have not let anybody in. Now you've opened it up. You've got a guy walking around, you're moving cars, you're doing whatever while it is open to the public. I'm not criticizing you. It is definitely a hectic situation that we've all been in. We've all had those crazy encounters. You misread a person, you misread a situation.
Yep.
You're already inside, all that good stuff. Shit can go south real fast. But you knew they already wanted to do that. You knew Charles was a psychopath.
Yep.
And you continued to open yourself up to not only risk, but liability. So I don't think it went wrong there where you thought it did with the roadside. In my professional opinion, for what it's worth, which isn't very much, it went wrong whenever you are outnumbered and let all these people into your shop. And then the doors obviously open, more people came in.
Yep.
Control the scene. You own the car. The bill is paid. Cool. You and I have worked together. You know that we've walked people back to the impounds to get stuff out of their cars. Yep. We know it's a standard practice. But when you are solo, especially, and you have the setup that you have, and like I said, the cameras are on inside the shop. So it's not like the guy's going to accuse you of, oh, he went into my car and stole money. It's all on camera.
Yeah. You
can see what I went in, what I came out with. Don't open yourself to that liability. Limit the risks, right?
I think
that went into your bathroom. I would have had him. That's where it's like out, but I get it. You don't want to escalate the situation any farther. Unfortunately, it escalated when you weren't trying to escalate. It just happened to be one of those things. But I truly believe that could have been, avoided with an impound management system, meaning no customers in the shop, period. Doesn't matter. You need to get something out, you tell me what it is. Unless it's a grieving family or something like that, or you can have two people present. You want to get stuff out of the vehicle? No problem at all. We have an after-hour release fee, and I'll have somebody else come down because we don't do it single person, whatever the case may be. Or, but when you have two people, we have the same thing. When they come into our shop, we have a mezzanine that they can come in. It's just a little area, and behind that is a locked door, and dispatch is behind a glass. Yeah. One person in there at a time. Because I don't need two people and I don't need arguing. Don't worry. We're not going to play he said, she said, because it's all recorded. Yeah. One person in there at a time. It's easy to manage one person. You can manage a one-on-one. When you get this guy wandering off in your peripherals over here and this guy doing something else over here, that's where you're going to open yourself up to all kinds of problems.
Yeah. See, like most of this situation, I think could have been resolved or not happened with one extra door. So like, the man door, you walk in and then you've got a door into the office. Yeah. But that's just a hallway directly into the shop, directly to the bathroom, like everything. Like it's not a very secured area. So when I was dealing with Charles and his friend, I let him through the front door, into the office door, turn the light on, into the office we went. I stood on my side of the desk. They were on their side. And I do get them not coming into the shop part where the car was, but I was like, well, Charles wants to get some of his stuff out. I'm walking through here. It was just Charles at his time because his buddy already went back outside.
Yeah.
Me, Charles is a smaller guy. I also have my girlfriend there.
Charles shot people. I don't care how small he is. He's not coming into the shop with me.
Charles is also half crippled right now.
Okay, fair enough. I don't get me wrong. I think people can change and bad people aren't, good people make bad mistakes. Yeah. But at the same time, taking that into account, crippled. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah. Like he could barely walk. He was in pretty rough shape after being run over by his own car and shot a couple of times.
That's fair.
Right. So in that situation, it doesn't really matter. Like even if they could drive their car and it's facing the door, I know some people let them drive it right out of the shop, right? If it's nosed out, right to the door, open up the door, see you later. It's not great. I get it. That's not
We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about another episode about the dangers of allowing customers to drive out of your impound and the insurance risk that comes with it. But yes, okay.
Yeah. So having them follow you into the shop and deal with their car isn't uncommon. The same thing goes if it's they need to get photos of the car and not actually go into the car. You let them in, take photos of this car and this car alone, stuff like that. The other gentleman who came in and asked to use the pisser, if I had another door to lock off that hallway that locked and it was only unlocked by press of a button, that's something that I think could have solved that issue, because then at least he would have had to come around into the bay door that I'm already at, and I was able to be in front of him and stop him before he saw the sign for the washroom or anything like that.
Well, absolutely. And if you're a towing company that deals with police impounds, we know that you don't deal with the most desirable of people or the most understanding of people. So to have that lack of, you know what I mean, procedure in place or setup in place, it only happens once. You know, it only has to happen once. So I know we've been dealing with this for years. I hate that attitude in the towing industry. It is everywhere. Well, we've been doing it this way for 20 years and we've never had an issue. Cool.
I just had an issue.
You just had an issue, right? And I'm not blaming the company. It's you know what I mean? Every company is different and every approach to everything is different and every personal situation was different.
It's a rented building. We don't have the ability to put up new walls here, there, and everywhere as we see fit.
Irrelevant.
Yep.
You find ways to work with what you have, whether it be that you talk with them on the outside. Remember, we had a shop. We used to do that all the time.
Yeah.
We'd talk with them outside and then we'd go inside and do the paperwork and then come back out. But we never left them alone inside, or we never left them. You know what I mean? That was the important key that we had. So always do the best, especially with police impounds, to protect yourself. And any of the listeners are watching over on YouTube. What do you do in that situation when you get that irate customer? The situation gets out of control, and I mean out of control where there's too many people to keep track of. Things are open and people are wandering around. What would you have done different in TowManG's scenario to help, you know, whether it be diffuse or control that situation? So I want to hear from you on that one. I think that is a very good one. Speaking of hearing from people, it is a very important time that I want to call out. We encourage you, as we have this episode and as we have on every episode, to leave a comment, question, concern, anything like that, whether it be through YouTube, email, Facebook, all the things. We received 2 comments on one of a posted episode. One was in reference to your shirt that I said, I'm pretty sure my dad has that same shirt.
Yep.
And it was my dad mentioning that he really likes your shirt.
I know. I hearted that comment.
That does
shout out to your father.
I love that shirt. No, that is not a compliment. I want to make that very clear. Helen Keller had a better sense of style than my father does. So the fact that he is enjoying your shirt.
Your father seems like a smart man, though. You always quote your father all the time. So, you know.
I didn't say he wasn't smart. I said he didn't have a sense of style. There's 2 different things.
I'm not focused on style. I'm focused on comfort and utility. And the press pocket in that, boom, right up there with the utility.
Throw a pocket protector, and that thing is the most versatile shirt I've ever had in my life.
You got it.
There was another one that came over on YouTube that came from a Project B. It was quite
pointed out an Easter egg that we put in these episodes for, I think it's the last 3 episodes we did. We had a little Easter egg.
Oh, I didn't intentionally do that. It just happens to be whatever one is on my rack. But a comment was, oh, look at PlainGuy talking shit on Backpull and now wearing their merch. If you're watching over on YouTube or you see the clips on Facebook, you will notice I am wearing a Backpull Hitches hat. And you are 100% Project B that I talk shit on Backpull Hitches. So much so that Backpull Hitches himself actually reached out to me and sent us a Backpull hitch to try. Sent us, by us I mean me, because you haven't got to try it yet, and you may never.
Thanks. I'll have to buy my
Kevin,
own.
TowManG is gonna head over to the store, give him a promo code or something to buy it. But you know, I'm one to apologize when I'm wrong and correct myself whenever I can. Towing is a career full of different situations, from vehicles missing a wheel to having none at all. A great operator learns to use all the tools in both his physical and mental toolbox. I'm here today to tell you about a new tool for your physical toolbox, the Backpull hitch. I'll be the first to tell you, I had my doubts that I aired right on this podcast. You can go back and find the episode. I want to say it was in the 40s somewhere, where I absolutely tore this product. But the fine folks over at Backpull Hitch actually sent me one and told me to put my money where my mouth was and to try the product before I shit on it. And that is exactly what I did. I put it through its paces in our yard. I hooked up. All the things that I was worried about, I pushed them to the limits to try and, you know, see flex in places where there shouldn't be flex, to you know, put this thing through the test. I don't want it just to be, oh yeah, it's a cool product. No, I want to make sure it actually works and it is going to leave me isn't going to leave me stranded somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I will tell you, I'm surprised. From the quality of the build, from the time that I took it out of the packaging to how easy it went together, this tool did surprise me. Even the openness that Backpull Hitches has been with any criticism. They have not been afraid of anything that I had to say bad about it. I gave them points. I could not use the product originally because it was not tagged or stamped.
Mm-hmm.
I voiced this concern. What did they do? They went out to DOT. They made sure to get it approved. They're in contact currently with Transport Canada to carry over that DOT approval into the Canadian side. Mm-hmm. They now have had that set up. We have the stamps and the tags to put on the product itself. It is legal to use, and it is not an everyday product. I will not sit there. Some guys will use it every day. I'm sure there's situations or operators that run runs that you will use that thing every day. Mm-hmm. But for towers that it's not, it is a tool in the toolbox. And when it comes to being the best, it is about having all the tools that you can get in both your mental and your physical toolboxes. And that is exactly what Backpull Hitch is. It is a perfect, you're not going to use it every day, but when you're going to use it, it is going to be worth its weight in gold. So you can visit them over at Backpull Hitches. That's BAKPUL Hitches.com for more information and to find out how you can add this wonderful tool to your toolbox. So although I did talk shit, Project B, I'm a man of my word. I had reached out to Backpull and I said, I'll try the product. And if I like it, and I will give you a proper apology and I will even promote this product. And guess what? I did. And I could have easily just taken this thing, tried it, said it's crap, thrown it in the garbage. I ran into a specific situation a week into having it where I had
those pictures.
A Dodge truck with a slide-in camper that was too tall for the flatbed. It had lost a rear wheel, not just the wheel, it lost the whole axle. So it wasn't a matter of just getting the wheel back on. You could not fork it from the rear because of the overhang of the sliding camper. You could not get all the way up and underneath. You could not front tow it, obviously, with it missing a rear tire, and it wouldn't fit on the flatbed. What did I do? I took my Backpull hitch, I threw it in, I hooked it up. The guy was towing a trailer behind that, so we put the trailer up on the bed, the hitch onto the hitch, the Backpull hitch onto the truck, and towed that thing away. And you know what? It was worth its weight that day. In front of the police, they thought they were amazed by the product. They were happy to get the road cleared. So on behalf of myself, I apologize. I was wrong. Project B, that is why you will see me throughout multiple episodes wearing a Backpull Hitches hat, because again, we have said it before and we'll say it again. We will not promote products we would not use ourselves. And this is a product that I will use.
I want to shout out to Backpull Hitches for sending over this product to a PlainGuy here, because anytime PlainGuy eats his words is a beautiful day in the towing industry. It really is. And I like this product from the start. I saw the Facebook videos, and he's sharing his product the grassroots way in these communities, and he got a lot of flack for it. And every time he got flack, he came back with a very simple response saying it works for the situations that I need it for.
Yep.
And I saw that and I was like, this is a guy who saw a problem that he faced and went out and made something. That's great. Yep. It works. And then when you came to concerns, well, is it actually legal to go down the road? He's taking these steps to better his product, not for his pocketbook, to better the industry and put more tools out there for towers. And that is, we need more of that in the industry, and it's awesome to see. So I stood behind it, and I'm still standing behind it, and I need to buy myself one.
Yeah, absolutely. And G will have a Backpull Hitches hat as soon as I put it in the mail to send it to him. We were just talking about that before the show. I have merch for him. I have shirts that I've ordered. I have everything. I just got to physically send it to him. I have just been too busy to find the time to do that. So yes, innovation in the industry is important. We've worked with many partners that are very much about, pushing the boundaries and helping the industry. You'll see two of them up at the top, BA Products. We've talked about all the innovations they've come out with, and towsoft.ca, another one we will get into a little bit more on the next episode, because I'm not just going to talk about our sponsors today. But TowSoft, when it comes to changing how dispatching is and how towing works, they are absolutely top of their game. Head over to towsoft.ca, check them out. I want to get to another comment. This time it was a message that we got over on the Facebook side. It was from a Robert.
Did you ask if he wanted his full name?
I don't care. Bleep it out if you want. It is from Robert. Bleep, bleep. Question for the two of you. When dropping out at a shop after hours, do you fill out an envelope? I'm going to pass that question to you, G. When dropping at a dealership, or I guess there's Canadian Tire has it too, and there's multiple garages that have the little thing you pull out, the envelope, you put the key in the envelope, and you write the stuff, and then you drop the whole thing in the drop box. You filling out those envelopes?
So I actually replied to Robert here on our Facebook page, and I said, no, I don't normally fill out the envelope, and I've only ever gotten flack for it once. And he actually just messaged back just before we started recording, and he said he was dropping at, I think it was a Hyundai dealership. I'm trying to pull it up. Yeah, it was a Hyundai dealership, and on their envelope, they have, by fill it out, you're saving $145 fee for finding out the problem. So what that means is if you don't fill out this envelope, apparently there's a $145 fee to figure out what's wrong with your car. Now, what I believe is I'm towing the vehicle.
Hold on. I don't know. We'll have to get clarification from him. I believe is that by filling this out, you are agreeing to a $145 fee, pretty much a diag fee for the reason your car is here. I think that may be more, that makes more sense than if you don't fill it out, we're charging you. If I don't fill it out, you don't know who I am to charge me.
This is true. But yes, I never really fill out those forms. Because I'm not the customer. I'm just the tow dick dropping it off. I'm not the broken telephone. If it's through a roadside, I don't feel like I'm obligated to give out their personal information that I have provided to me from that roadside. I feel like it's the customer's responsibility to call the dealer or the shop to let them know it's coming. That's normally one of the general questions I ask when I arrive on scene. What's wrong with the vehicle? Whereabouts are the keys? Do they know it's coming?
If they don't know it's coming,
can you please call? Let them know I'm on my way with it. Because sometimes they'll be like, we're booked up solid. Your appointment's not till next week. Keep your piece of shit at your house for another week. I've had that more times than one. I've only ever had that bite me in the butt once, and it was at a Ford dealership. I dropped off an F-150 after hours, and I got a call the next day. Where are the keys? It was like, I threw them in your drop box. It was actually the local dealership that we towed to a lot when we worked together. I threw the keys in the slot, closed it up. See you later. Well, they said the key's not in our drop box and the key's not in the vehicle. I was like, well, I locked the truck and I I threw it in the drop box, so it's got to be there somewhere. It got stuck in the chute, and they tried to ream me out, at least put it in the envelope. I was like, I guess I can at least put it in the envelope and just not fill it out.
I'm not filling the envelope out. No, my simple answer to that is no. I do not fill out the envelope. No. And a lot of the same reasons on what you said. First of all, again, it's not the customer's job is to contact the garage. I am simply the transport between. That's like when the customer tells me, can you tell them at the garage what's going on? Like, you know what I mean? Tell them this, and this. No, you call your garage.
Write a note, leave it in the car or something.
I've done that. I brought them keys with a note. Yeah. I don't mind when you go up to the service desk, they go, do you got a name? I'll give them a name. Oh, do you have a phone number? Sure. Hold on. Normally I leave it in my truck. Let me go get the phone number. I mean, the customer should have made the arrangements already, but that's minor. But you're right. It's our job is to transport the vehicle. This is who the vehicle is for. If they're closed after hours and you drop the keys in, I guess I'm a hypocrite in saying this because our job is to let them know who the vehicle's for, and we're not doing our job. Yeah. But that being said, if it is going in after hours, call them in the morning, sort it out with them. Hey, my car got towed in last night. The service guy will know he's got a set of keys that he doesn't have a name attached to. It's pretty easy to see what car it is, especially at a dealership when they hit the alarm. Alarm goes off. Between plates and VINs, they can easily pull up who it is.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I'm
and
not
realistically, if someone's getting their car towed there and they don't hear from that place in 3 days, they're calling.
Okay. I had one dealership in the city of Kingston, and I can say that I don't care. Great system, terrible system, all in one. So they had a 24-hour, I don't know if you had to preset it up, whatever it was, but drop off and pick up vending machine. So if you showed up after hours to get your car, and I'm assuming it was like a mailbox system with a whole touchscreen. You could pay
I've
right
seen
there.
one of those. Yep.
Yeah. The problem is they don't actually have a drop box. They actually sealed the drop box off, and you have to do it through there.
Oh.
And you can. It is a tower's nightmare in the middle of the night when you get to the dealership, because it goes, okay, enter your name. Okay. So you enter the customer's name. Okay. Have you been here before? I don't know. Yes. We don't have your on file. Well, then you knew I hadn't been here before. What's the phone number? Okay. What's the problem with it? Enter. Okay. Would you like to approve for this? No. Would you like to approve for this? No. Are you approving for this? No. Would you like an oil change while you're here? Sure. Why not? Would you like us to contact you frequently about your extended warranty? Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
And then all this thing, and then a box finally unlocks, and you slide the keys in.
And it
and
tells you
like,
what number to pick, and yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a whole rigmarole. And as an operator who normally just walks up, hits the lock, throws the keys in the drop box, and leaves, takes a photo maybe to prove, in case there's questions.
Drop it off this time. Yeah.
If it's a garage that you've never dealt with, or it's just an address that didn't give you a shop name, I'll try and get a photo with the car in front of the shop, add it to our call. So if our dispatcher ever looks back, well, this is where it was dropped.
Mm-hmm.
But to have to go through and type in and fill out all this form and pretty much agree to give away their firstborn child for them is a little bit excessive. Now I see where it's got customer convenience on the pickup side, but for the towers in us, for the love of God, give us a separate box that says tow-ins. Just give us a separate one, tow-ins.
Yeah.
Or it's worse when garages don't. Some garages don't have drop box. I know a specific garage. It doesn't have exhaust ports, and it doesn't have a drop box.
Why are they in business? Shut them down.
Leave them in the car and take the liability. Call the customer. I've had it. It's local, so we've taken the keys back to our yard and bring them in the morning. That's a pain. So
we actually had a pretty substantial issue with that previously during COVID when it first started, and there wasn't too many protocols, and they were saying leave the keys in the vehicles. We had a driver drop off a vehicle at a dealership a fair ways away, and he left the key in the car. It was actually a van. Well, I think 3 or 4 days went by, and the customer was calling. He's like, where's my van? Because the dealership's saying that they don't have it. We're like, we dropped it off. We left the keys in it. Someone spoke to us when we were there, and they said, just leave the keys in it. We will be by. But that person who talked to our driver didn't relay the information to their boss or the person to go and collect the keys. So 4 or 5 days went by. The dealership finally figures out that they have this customer's vehicle, and there's a homeless guy sleeping in the back of it because we left it unlocked.
That's about as good as that can get.
Because the customer was like, where's this pillow? Whose is this pillow? And why is this random pillow in my van?
Oh, boy, because our service manager doesn't make enough money. He's going through a rough time with his wife. Would you let him have a goddamn place to sleep? That's all we ask for. We'll fix it. Yeah. Just let our service guy have a spot to sleep. Well, that being said, the hours are getting long and the nights are getting late. And so on behalf of both of us over at the Towing Life podcast, I hope you enjoyed this week's show. We cannot wait to see you next week. Don't worry. We're hoping, too, that wonderful, amazing producer Sarah will be back for some moral dilemmas and keep us two yahoos in control. So on behalf of myself and TowManG, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
Toodles.
Take care. I was going to end it after the homeless thing, and then you went on again. God damn it. Oh, I got a good joke out of it.
You did. That was gold. That was gold.
That was pretty good.
Perfect note to end the episode on. Other than this little bit that comes after it,
This doesn't come after.
Yeah.
No more afters.
I always put a little after.
Do you? I don't ever listen.
I know. That's why I can just hide things here at the end.
My favorite color is blue.
There you go.
My favorite crayon, too. They taste the best.